Alright, so I'm making this video to talk about the most underrated unique in the game. Helm's Heart. This unique can single-handedly make you one of the tankiest motherfuckers. Another underrated unique is this one. Okay, so let me explain why this is underrated. If you're doing fire damage, this is really, really nice. And the reason I say that is because it does not inflict exposure like it used to. It just straight up sets enemy resistances to negative 25%. So usually you cannot negate, you can't get enemies' resistance lower than 0. This allows you to do that. But not any lower than negative 25%. So it simply just sets their resistance, their fire res, to negative 25%. It does not apply exposure. So these nodes right here, this node right here, and this node right here, are actually pretty much useless. I'll probably end up getting this. The only reason you really would want this is for the extra damage as elemental damage, but this right here just straight up sets their resistance, their fire res, to negative 25%. It puts it in the negative for you. But Kaom's Heart, the video is mainly just for talking about Kaom's Heart, which is very underrated unique. And the reason a lot of people don't use it is because they like to have spirit, they like to have heralds. It kind of depends on the build, I guess. If you use cast on crit and stuff like that, then you don't really have a choice. You're probably gonna go energy shield, you know. That's kind of the meta. But if you're doing a melee build and you gotta get, you know, up close to the enemies and everything, then I recommend Helm's Heart. Trying to stack some of that life. If you're doing a fire build, I definitely recommend Zoph's Blood, because it just straight up sets their resistance to fire into the negative, giving you a shitload more damage. So every enemy we run up to, you'll see their fire res is always going to be in the negative, always. And it should be the same for bosses. It shouldn't be any different for bosses. I'll make sure. We got the boss, it's red. Negative. You don't have to stack fire penetration like I thought. It doesn't add exposure like I thought. I researched it a little bit. I found that it literally just sets the shit to negative. I was like, oh my god, that's incredibly OP. Since there's practically no other way to do that except for Leopold's and Rockiatas. So this, in my opinion, rivals Rockiatas if you're doing a fire build. And it also is better than Leopold's, in my opinion. Now you could have +3 melee skills, you know, you could have that. But the reason I'm using this over that is not just because of the negative to fire res. It's also because it gives you life, and it gives you a shitload of fire resistance. And +3 to level of melee skills is like, yeah, it's good. Don't get me wrong, but the amount of mana you're going to be using, it kind of outweighs, unless you can get, for this type of build, the amount of mana you're using outweighs the amount you can get back. And the reason I say that is because you do mainly fire damage. So even if you do stack mana leech from physical attacks, from physical damage, it doesn't really matter because you're not really doing that much physical damage. Now, you don't need that much physical damage to get a lot of mana leech. I'm gonna be honest. You can get a shitload of mana leech with barely any physical damage. For example, I do literally almost no physical damage. It's mostly just fire and other elements, like cold and lightning. But if I had a mana leech on this and this, I'd probably still be getting enough for it to be like a good amount of mana. But I feel like the negative to fire res, just setting their fire resistance to negative is just so much more valuable, in my opinion. So as a test, to see how much damage I'm really doing, I'm going to fight Tier 2 Zesht, which I haven't done yet. I'm 15, 13. And we will. Alright. Tier 2 Zesht. I should be able to do Tier 2 Zesht. I haven't tried it yet. We're gonna find out if I can actually do it or not. So an update on the headhunter I had. The high-res iron and all that. It just wasn't worth it. I realized it was not viable for this type of build. I just couldn't get tanky enough to not die. And I knew it was going to be a glass cannon. I thought I could be able to get like enough life regen. But then I realized I kind of spent all my currency. I basically threw away all the currency that I got from the headhunter. I should have just kept the headhunter and kept my build the way it was, because I ended up just going back to how the build was originally anyways. Because of the tankiness from Kael's Heart, I ended up just going right back to Kael's Heart. So. And then of course I don't have a merchant's tab, and I'm not going to buy one, because I refuse to fucking buy one after they didn't let console players convert their regular merchant's tabs to the instant merchant's tabs. I refuse to give GG any more money after that, because it fucking pissed me off. So, like, I'll still continue to play the game, so I guess I'm the stupid one, to be honest. But I had to sell all the items for a very low amount compared to how much I actually paid for this. Because nobody wants to trade manually, which is fair, but it's just annoying. Truth is, I probably won't ever get a merchant's tab like an automatic. I don't know. I'll just grind this one. It is what it is. Just grind for another headhunter. I got one already. I'll probably do for a mirror. I have like 1,600 hours in this game. I've never seen a mirror do for one. It's about time they drop it. So maybe I'll get one doing maps. Oh, let's go. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. All right. So let's just fight the boss. Dodge that. I don't know how to shot this. That's just fun. He's dead. See how we could tank a lot of those hits though? As long as we had our health potion up. That's what I'm saying. Get almost hard. Get almost hard. I ain't capping when I say it's good. I ain't capping. It gives you shitloads of health. And it's 100% worth it. 100% worth it for the health. Because that health translates to life regen as well. You have life regen per percentage of health. You gotta take all that into account. Now 3, probably not powerful in terms of damage yet. I think I just need like a really good weapon, unfortunately. Which is probably just not gonna happen, if I'm being completely honest. But yeah, I got a div out of it. That made it worth it in the end, honestly. Because I spent so much currency doing all that. But yeah, we got this. Let's see if this is worth anything. Ooh! Nice. Nice. That's a nice little haul right there. Shit. Man, I might have to do more of those Zest runs. That was the first time I did a tier 2. I might have to try a tier 3, see if I can do it, see if I have damage. But yeah, Zest, ladies and gentlemen. Tier 2. Unfortunately. Did not get enough of those breach splinters to try tier 3. Not that I would have tried tier 3 anyways. I don't think I can do it, honestly. What is this worth? 1, 2. Not that much. So I'll show my sheet DPS, but it doesn't really matter. But I'll show like what I have in here. I have rapid attacks 2, elemental armament 2, pinpoint critical, inexorable critical 2, and then for Maul, I have armor break 3, rapid attacks 2, pinpoint critical, escalating poison. I don't know why I have this. Fire attunement. I don't even like proc poison. I'm gonna take that out. Put something else in there. I think it's because I was probably doing a poison build at some point, but now I'm not. So. Oh, we already had that in there. God damn it. My brain don't work no good no more. Armor break's kind of useless because we don't do physical damage anyways. So. trying to think of what I could put in here. Life Leech is kind of useless too because we don't do physical damage. If you bleed, why not? Just for some extra damage on bosses, I guess. Doesn't that scale with physical? Fuck. I'm just gonna do this. And, no. Okay. Probably do exonerable crit as well on that one. I just wish I could get a 6 socket for this. It's impossible, unfortunately. And that's because they cost beers, the 6 sockets for that. Because you have to get a one that has a level 20. I'm gonna look it up. Maybe they went down. Nope, 370 divines. Yeah, it is what it is. It's a very rare item, so I understand. It's definitely worth the currency for sure. I'm gonna do an easy map. Probably should have just done hard one. Don't end the video there. Just want to talk about it's hard. Very goated. Extremely underrated. You're doing it like a molten crash build. You're not using this. Maybe you don't need to, because you're probably stacking energy shield, to be honest. But if you want to like cheapen out the gear, have a lot of gear. Easily, you just use this. You don't have to worry about having an energy shield. And your life regen will just skyrocket as well. Again, the only downside is getting no spirit. But with a build like this, I really don't think you need it. See if we get anything good from this. So here's what I mean by like the mana issues. Definitely legit. Good. Nothing too good. Unfortunate. Be like that. Just like I've never gotten another Rockiatas from Jade Isles, even though I've done like 20 of them. I just don't be getting lucky like that, unfortunately. That's all that kind of matters is luck. Especially when you're doing Jade Isles. I don't think rarity or any of that affects the Rockiatas flow drop. It's just completely random whether you get it or not. Man, it kind of sucks that like apparently all this shit Bubgun was doing, like everybody was doing it, it was growing in the economy, but the fucking price of the divines is still skyrocketing, dog. People getting multiple headhunters, divines, mirrors, and it's like how has none of the currency dropped? Everything still stayed the same. Or went up. I think Divine dropped maybe like 20 exiles by now. Headhunters are still extremely expensive. Nothing wrong with that. It's just kind of like weird. So I don't agree when people say that his thing like ruined the economy. It's like shit hasn't really changed. Like people. Most players, I think, aren't even like able to do a juice temple like that anyways. It's just a select few who are getting all the currency. Mostly streamers. And people who took advantage of the Holton exploit. But that's like, I don't know, the Holton exploit thing. They patched it already, but I don't know. I just don't know. I didn't do it. I didn't try it. I was too lazy. I was like, nah. And I never got anybody else to do it for me because I just didn't have divs and everybody was charging divs to do it. I was like, yeah, I'm good on that. I don't got that currency. In the end, though, I regret getting rid of the headhunter. I should have just kept it. It was not worth the currency, and it was not worth getting all the shit I got, like the high desire and everything. None of that shit really worked for the build. Kind of all just pointless in the end. All those upgrades I tried to do. We're all just completely like I was clearing screens, but I was already like doing that. So with a tanky setup, you know, so it kind of made the whole thing pointless. All I did was drop all my tankiness for a little bit more damage, and it's like, you know, if I can't even kill a boss because I'm not tanky enough to take some of its hits, what's even the fucking point of having all that damage, you know? That's kind of what ended up happening. So in the end, I learned that I should have just kept the headhunter. It is what it is. We move. Maybe I'll get another one. I doubt it, but maybe I'll chance Horrible. I don't know. Maybe I'll try and get some chance orb some. I don't know. I've chance orbed like 50 already just this league alone, so I kind of just gave up on chance orbing. I'm trying to, because I was like, what's the point? You know, I'm not going to get one. I've already tried chance orbing a whole bunch, and I haven't gotten one. I've never gotten one with a chance orb. I've chance orbed at least 500 heavy builds over the span of 1,600 hours of gameplay that I've played. And I've never chance orbed a heavy build to a headhunter, ever. I've gotten the other unique, the other heavy build, but I've never gotten a headhunter. Let me see how much they're worth right now. See if they went down. Nah, not really. It's about the same. Yeah, it's about the same. Unfortunate. What I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna save up until I can get one. We'll try and save up. These aren't worth anything. These are all shit retrains. Can I sell this for 2 div? Hopefully I can. I don't know. We'll see. All these belts. Probably never gonna go for anything. I'm probably just putting them for 20 exiles a piece. Even though I paid 30 divine per belt, because I was experimenting. Nobody's ever gonna buy them off me for that much. So fuck it. Just put them up for 20. Put it up for 1 exile, I guess. Whatever. Fucking annoying. These up for 1 exile. I get a shitload of trades, then I'll know I need to up it. Alright, I'm gonna end the video there.